Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. A simple summary. Mr. Gabriel John Utterson, a lawyer, is worried about his friend, Dr. Henry Jekyll. Jekyll is a kind and respected scientist, but Utterson hears disturbing things about a man named Mr. Edward Hyde, who has a terrible reputation. What puzzles Utterson even more is that Jekyll has written a will, leaving everything to Hyde in case of his death or disappearance. Utterson's concern deepens when he hears about a horrible event. Hyde had trampled a young girl in the street, showing no remorse. The situation was settled when Hyde paid the family, using a check signed by Dr. Jekyll. Utterson is determined to meet Hyde and understand his connection to Jekyll. Utterson manages to meet Hyde, who immediately gives off a feeling of pure evil. Hyde is unfriendly, and Utterson is shocked by his hateful appearance. Afterward, Utterson talks to Jekyll, who dismisses his concerns, saying that he can handle Hyde and that Utterson shouldn't worry. However, Jekyll's behavior starts to change. He begins isolating himself, spending more time in his lab and refusing to see friends. Utterson becomes more suspicious that something is wrong between Jekyll and Hyde. Soon, news spreads of a brutal murder. Sir Danvers Carew has been killed, and witnesses identify Hyde as the murderer. The police search for Hyde, but he disappears. Utterson confronts Jekyll, who insists he's done with Hyde. For a while, Jekyll seems to return to his normal self, but then he withdraws again, locking himself in his lab. One of Jekyll's old friends, Dr. Lanyon, falls ill and dies after having a shocking encounter with Jekyll. Before his death, Lanyon gives Utterson a letter, to be opened only after Jekyll's death or disappearance. Utterson gets a call from Jekyll's servant, Poole, who fears something terrible has happened. Together, they break into Jekyll's lab and find Mr. Hyde dead, wearing Jekyll's clothes. Jekyll is nowhere to be found. Utterson reads letters left by Jekyll and Lanyon, which reveal the truth. Dr. Jekyll had always felt a struggle between his good and evil sides. To separate them, he created a potion that turned him into Mr. Hyde, a completely evil version of himself. As Hyde, Jekyll could indulge in wicked behaviors without guilt. But over time, Hyde grew stronger, and Jekyll lost control. He began transforming into Hyde without the potion. Hyde's violent actions, including the murder of Carew, horrified Jekyll. He tried to stop using the potion, but it was too late. Hyde had taken over. Knowing he couldn't escape his evil side, Jekyll chose to end his life. The lesson. The story shows the dangerous struggle between good and evil within everyone. Jekyll's attempt to separate the two sides leads to disaster because he underestimates the power of his darker self. The story is a warning about the consequences of giving in to temptation and not accepting the duality of human nature.